The horses are now nearing the starting gate. And they're off. As the field comes into the stretch. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. Mostly sunny skies, the temperature right around 50 degrees today. The main track is fast, and we have a 9-race card, and we'll take a look at the changes now. In the first race, note that number 2, Camouflage Kisser, runs with cheek pieces again. Cheek pieces again on the 2, and number 3, Maine, is a Ridgeling. Also, please note we will be running the races at a faster pace today, so please note post time changes in races 2 through 9. In the second race, note that number 4, Meet Me in Cali, runs with a goggle off number 4. Third race, no changes. In the fourth, which begins the Empire 6, scratch number 2, Lemon Drop Road, scratch the 2. In race 5, scratch the 5, American Rule, scratch number 5, American Rule. In today's 6th race, number 1, Tonka Flower, is a Ridgeling. And scratch the 4, Knockout Punch. Scratch number 4, Knockout Punch. In the 7th race, scratch number 4, Daddy Knows. In race 7, scratch the 4. And number 8, Daneberry, runs with a bar shoe again on the 8. In race 8, which is the Damon Runyon Stakes, scratch number 2, Eagle Orb, scratch the 2. And in today's 9th race, which will now be run at 4:46, note that number 4, Oh Dem Golden Slippers, will run with a mask. Main track is fast. We'll come back at 12:50 to recap the changes. Today's first race post is at 1:20. Coming up next, the Daylight Saving Time edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Big A Anthony Stabile.
What up?
Not much. We've accelerated post times, apparently. There's wind coming, so we're going to have about 25 minutes between races today with a last post of 4:46. Why don't we just start them now? How you doing?
I'm good. Good.
Are you? Good.
Yeah.
Quick thoughts on Concert Tour? Very quick.
That was, I mean, that was a great ride. The other horse seemed to just look like Giroux, just let him go.
But wouldn't if you're on Cattle River, wouldn't you be happier, sort of in a stalking position outside of him? It's a very moderate pace.
He never really stalked.
Well, he did. He stalked. That's what he was doing. He was stalking.
No. His best races prior to yesterday.
Well, I don't. All I'm saying is, bottom line is Cattle River ran terribly, and he's not as good as these horses, and this was his acid test, and he didn't pass it. I mean, that's the end of the day.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in other words, what's he going to do with have Joel? Bob Baffert doesn't back down. So what's he going to do? I'm leading down his throat on the inside. He would have finished. Maybe the 3 would have been second because he wouldn't have interfered with him in the stretch if he had not done that, because he would have backed up earlier. But I mean, there was no scenario where Concert Tour wasn't winning that race.
No, there wasn't.
I'm not on the Concert Tour bandwagon.
Me either.
I mean, he got a 94 buyer. He's a very nice horse. He's absolutely in the mix with the horses below. Life is good, but I don't think there's much to get carried away about. I thought it was the first prep that was disappointing. Not because Concert Tour, he ran fine. I think he ran fine. He didn't take a big step forward, but he ran fine.
The other horses,
but nobody else showed up.
Nobody else ran.
And I thought they were. Now listen, I think Keep Me in Mind was a joke to begin with, so I'm not surprised he ran badly. I thought, maybe I probably overrated the Aspen horse. He didn't really take that big a step forward.
But I'll tell you this: I wouldn't be quick to dismiss Keep Me in Mind, because to me that track has been playing a little inside, and he was just 5 wide around a racetrack. So
it did.
From what I watched this week, covering radio and watching the races, I thought you wanted to be inside.
No, I thought he did absolutely no running whatsoever. I don't think he's ever done that much running. So I'm in a very different place than everybody else with that horse. But we'll see. I mean, they'll try him again, I guess.
And he's the kind of, I think if you're like me and you tried him yesterday, I wouldn't be too quick to dismiss him. Wherever they try him again next time, he's going to be 3 times the price, and I just wouldn't be so quick to dismiss him.
Yeah, I never liked him to begin with, so I don't get him. So we'll see. We'll see. As it is now, his life is good, and a bunch of other horses that are hovering in the mid 90s, and horses like Risk Taking that have to get faster. Greatest Honor is going to have to sort of prove
They're both kind of Risk Taking and Greatest Honor are both kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, similar types.
They have to get a little bit faster. I don't think either of us think they're going to have a problem handling extra ground, but they are going to have to run faster race. Right. Or hope Life is Good has some distance limitations.
Well, but then there's others too. I mean, I'm not Essential Quality's biggest fan, but I think he's another horse that's got to run a fast race in his next start. We'll see what he does.
But he's the kind of horse that's done everything they've really asked of him so far.
He's done nothing wrong. I love that.
They've done everything they've asked of him, and it's going to the water's going to get deeper as we get further along the trail. But
Should we go to Naira Bets?
I'm already there.
I know you're eager to go to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code MATCH200, and we will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. NairaBets.com. We're offering. You love these. You handle this.
Yeah, this is last race cash back. You bet $10 to win on the last at Oaklawn, and if you finish second, you get $10 back. Last race cash back. So head over to NairaBets.com for more details.
All right. You ready? Race number 1. We got to talk about the track. It's clearly back to being an inside track, and it's affecting the races once again. I handicap days in advance, and you just don't know. I don't go into a card assuming we'll have a bias, but given the circumstance over the majority of the last 5 weeks here, I think it's fairly safe to assume that a horse like Repo Rocks is going to be compromised in this race because he's not the speed, and he didn't draw an inside post. So it's really going to be up to Pablo Morales to find a way to get a trip for him, and even if you're aware of it, and I think Pablo's a good rider, you got to find the right trip. He's the best horse in this race, but what about a horse like American Gentleman? I mean, doesn't he move up a great deal? And we'll take a look at his last race. He lost a race he never should have lost, But doesn't he move way up as the potential controlling speed?
Yes, you would have to move him up. It's funny you said that about putting. So I bought a new laptop, and for some reason the picks won't post on that laptop. I made some corrections when I put everything up last evening because of the track. You know, American Gentleman was the kind of horse where he had already run for the 40, and I kind of thought last time he should have gotten the money. He didn't, but now, and he went for me from a kind of horse that I was trying to bet against to, after watching the races yesterday, it's going to be, you have to respect him. And I mean, I moved him up to third, you have him second. He's the kind of horse where, yeah, based on the racetrack, and again, I would let this affect your selections and your plays a little bit more when you're going to the lesser reliable horses, the maidens. You know, I think there's a better chance that they'll take advantage
What about
of.
the winner of the stake yesterday, who was able to take advantage of that, and won the race because of the racetrack?
But it was another great. That's a great example of using your best weapon and riding
but that's not the point. The
bias.
point is the horse won because of the bias, and the fact is that
Well,
that's not a lesser horse.
The other speed didn't break.
Well, she was never running with that horse. She was comparable. She wasn't even close to comparable with that horse. You should be happy I let you off of the 5 lunches and move on from her.
Well, that's what we do when you
Worst
get
pick
left.
of all
But
time.
I'm just saying.
Anthony.
That's what we do.
She was going to be last
But
regardless.
whatever the case is,
Beat
we don't know
50
that.
Yes, we do. She got beaten
We
50
don't
lengths.
know that.
I
I
don't
did
agree
get
with
away
this
with one
assumption
yesterday.
that biases help cheaper horses. I don't. I don't understand why that assumption is true. I think it's going to categorically move up horses in comparison to their relative advantages or
You
disadvantages.
don't think
in
there's a better?
fields.
You don't think there's a better chance at a better class of horse overcoming a bias than a cheaper horse?
Not if there's. It depends the difference between the higher level of horse and his or her competition. I think it's all relative to your competition. If you have a horse that's not that far off another one, but has a big tactical advantage and is with a bias, that horse can beat whether it's a Breeders' Cup race or it's one of these races. You don't think a Breeders' Cup race has ever been affected by biases?
Of course.
Go back and look at 1986 and Skywalker beating a horse like Turkoman.
I'm not
So
saying
no,
there's not
I
going to
think
be
that's a fallacy.
Okay.
I think that it depends the differences between horses in an individual race, not necessarily their quality.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think.
I don't
I know you
believe in
don't.
absolutes either. I would say though, if you were going to make a general statement about it, I would think it would be that. But maybe we'll listen. Disagree.
High Press is a horse that obviously everybody has to use because at this point, the Rob Atras Express is kind of out of control. He won 4 races yesterday, and I know some of them with the bias, but his horses are really finding extra gears and running gigantic races, some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are bias-aid, to be fair, but they are really running, and every one of them is taking a huge punch at the windows at the end. The winner of the feature, 8-1, 5-1. That horse that I liked that won off the claim, 3-1, 2-1, ended up favored over the Rudy horse in that race. The winner of the first race punched down to 3-1. Yeah, he got lucky to win.
Well,
but
the first
still,
race went 5-1, 3-1 into the gate.
But 8-1, 5-1 in the stake. They're all taking huge punches. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I just think while this horse did absolutely no running first time out after breaking about 3/4 length slow, I don't think you can allow horses from Rob Atras to beat you. No. And they're all going to get bet more than they should.
And I never thought this horse would be anywhere. I don't think this horse will be anywhere close to the 10-1. And
If Rob Atras hadn't won 17 races this week, he'd be closer to 10.
you think this horse is going to be a bigger price than Jailbreaker?
Comparable. Comparable. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing to like about this horse unless you assume the horse is going to be a completely different horse for Rob Atras.
The horse is getting a class drop. The horse is getting a
the
training
horse
change
does
for Rob
absolutely no
Atras. The
running.
horse is getting Lasix. Yeah, I understand that, but he's also coming from maiden special weight competition in Kentucky.
But
where
so is Repo Rocks, but he was like eased in that race, and he was brutal. I mean, they can run the worst horse on earth.
His races look like he was
special.
his races look like he was bleeding, and now he can get Lasix.
Really?
Now, I think the Lasix, yeah, his in contention and just completely stopping and falling apart. Now he can get his Lasix.
We'll see. I think he's got Rob Atras.
Repo Rocks makes a lot of sense, but I'm not going to be surprised when this horse is 7-2 today in airs.
Oh, I'm not surprised if Rob Atras is the worst horse in the race and the horse wins the way his horses are running these days.
I think there's a lot more to like about him to begin with, and then when you take in the way the barn's going.
No, you're a conspiracy theory guy, and I'm not.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think the horse is going to need Lasix. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory at all. I think the Lasix is really going to help that horse.
We'll move on to race number 2. I left him off because I think if on a fair racetrack, Mr. Fantasy, and we'll take a look at his win, in my opinion, would be one of the biggest pitches at an underlaid price on the entire card. The problem is that he may clear. But you know what? Are you convinced he's going to clear Writer's Regret in this race?
I think he can clear. And I picked him based on that premise. And also based on the fact that Trevor has been riding this racetrack very well. I think Trevor knows that if he doesn't clear, he's in an awful lot of trouble today. So he might clear and get beat. If he doesn't clear, he's getting beat. So there's a gonna get beat if he doesn't clear, might get beat if he clears.
Well, if Manny doesn't hustle Writer's Regret, then I don't know what Manny's thinking. And it's not necessarily him or the trainer. If the trainer of Writer's Regret doesn't want Val Sanders winning.
Fantasy just faster than him, Andy.
No, he's not faster than him. Once again, no, he's not faster
Wow.
than him. Wow, what? Writer's Regret didn't break that sharply last time, and the other horse broke like a rocket ship, and the other horse that won the race is fast early. Writer's Regret's pretty quick. I wish you'd look at pace figures. I really do. I think it's close. I think what it is it comes down to
Time form has him fast.
It's very close. It comes down to intention. I'm not saying he's not a touch faster, but it's close enough that it's going to come down to intention. And if you're Manny Franco and you have the inside of the other horse, you let him go, you might as well just turn around and go right back to the barn. And though it's at Belmont, so it's a bit of a trick.
I believe Mr. Fantasy's a little faster. I could be, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not saying he's not a little faster, but he's outside of him.
Yeah, he is outside of him.
The riders that are taking advantage of the coveted inside position are the riders that are getting rewarded around here. And the ones who are persevering with the inside speeds are getting the best of the horses that are forced to chase outside. Because if Manny lets him go, he ends up chasing outside. How's that going to work for him?
It's not.
Right. Now, maybe dueling inside's not going to work either, but I guess he's, damned if you do, damned if you don't, but at least you want to be on the inside, you want to hold it. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think the other horse was fast. A duel's not going to do anybody any good.
Well, nobody duels around here.
I just thought it was
That's the thing. Nobody duels around here, so just go, be assertive, and the pace will be moderate like it is 99% of the time around here. I don't like Mr. Fantasy. If he wins, I can lose. Even on this racetrack, I'm not a big fan. I guess Texas Basin is the logical horse, but man, he's a bit of a plotter, isn't he? Doesn't he just look too obvious on paper?
He's a real plotter. It's part of the reason I like Kentucky Cool a little bit today, because shouldn't Kentucky Cool? Well, I think Kentucky Cool can work out a rail trip. He's faster than Texas Basin. He's supposed to be able to get over. And if there is a little pace in front of him, what Writers are getting Mr. Fantasy, I think he's got to be in a good spot saving the ground. Dylan Davis had a great day yesterday. He's been saving some ground. I think this horse falls into a real trip today.
Okay. I don't like him, but good luck. What do you do with a number 5 horse? Respect for all.
2 mile races, cutting back to 3/4. Haven't seen him in almost a month.
Was a better field last time.
Yeah, was a better field. Haven't seen him for over a month. He was entered and scratched, but it was quick.
Yeah,
I want to say he was entered back like 10 days, like a week or 10 days later, and he came out. But here's a horse, a couple of races, he didn't really do anything wrong going the mile. They're going to cut him back. They're making an equipment change. He had the scratch. He can win. There's just a lot going on for a horse that ran okay in his first 2 starts. And now you're looking to change a bunch of things for him.
It was a decent enough field last time. Prospect Mountain, Bourbonic are pretty good horses, relatively speaking. They're better than the horses that a lot of them are facing here. They're certainly better than, Bustin' My Groove, who Kentucky Cool beat, who you like. I'm taking a shot with Meet Me in Cali. I don't think the rail was terrible on January 16th. I'm not convinced it was a place to be, especially early in the day. I don't have a strong opinion. I don't think he benefited being down in there. I want to give him a chance in a dry track for these new connections.
Okay.
I thought he was a little interesting last time, and I think if I thought he was interesting last time in a race where I don't really want to take anybody in here. I want to give this horse another chance. I'm not going to give a big song and dance. He's going to be a big price. He's obviously got to improve to be effective here. I can't knock horses like Kentucky Cool and tell you I like this horse, because Kentucky Cool is faster than he is.
I know these things don't bother you as much as they bother me. He was not in for the tag last time, and he's in for the tag today. Does that bug you?
No.
He's eligible.
No. What do you think they paid for him last time?
I don't.
Is somebody really going to claim him for 50? Wouldn't they be happy to lose him?
I'll tell you what.
If they wanted to really dump him, wouldn't they just drop him in for cheaper?
I wouldn't mind trying this horse on the turf.
Well, you can claim him. The money you save not claiming Mijos.
It was costing me a lot of money yesterday.
Well, I tried to tell you on the show that he could win the race, and you just kept shaking your head.
I went three. I couldn't go 4 deep. I went 3 deep instead.
Just pointing out. Race number 3.
Nobody claimed him yesterday?
Nope.
Wow.
Race number 3.
That's surprising.
Whale and Josie. Oh, so you're going to get She's a Super Freak home in here.
I'm going to try and talk about a horse that's supposed to clear and get over.
Really?
I mean,
you really think that Greg Matisse isn't going to tell the rider of the number 3 horse to be aggressive, and number 2 horse and aggressive, and send that horse? You think Greg Matisse, brother of Paul and Duke Matisse,
I'm going to take my chances.
isn't going to tell his rider?
I'm going to take my chances that Trevor's going to be able to clear what She's a Super Freak in.
Okay, maybe.
I'll take my chances.
But I'm going to take my chances that the Matisse boys are not going to tell their rider, you give up this rail and you give up the lead. I'll be very surprised.
They can tell her whatever they want.
Well, you think She's a Super Freak's a bullet? She's not that fast.
I think She's a Super Freak will get in front of this field.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I wouldn't bet She's a Super Freak if it was a gold rail and I knew she was going to get in front. She just has an inability to hang on in races, and nobody's better more times than I have.
That's true.
We'll see.
She's one of your girls.
I actually think Steal My Heart's kind of an interesting horse as a potential speed in this race. Not that I like her. I don't have a strong opinion. Whale and Josie's supposed to win here. She just never wins either. Another horse.
She's doing what she likes to do. Hey, listen, it's work. I'll tell you what. If you're a Connections, you're not complaining too much. She's earned $135,000, not winning.
No, I'm not. She is who she is. I'm just saying she doesn't win. But she's run plenty of races that could win this. She's the horse to beat.
She's made $37,000 this year in 3 starts, not winning. That's not bad for not winning.
I thought Cheatham Hill came out of a better race last time, frankly. I'm just hoping that Benji Hernandez stays in the rail with Cheatham Hill and the speeds come apart a little bit and gets the right trip, as you like to say. And I thought she was a logical alternative in here.
She's supposed to get the trip.
Everybody I know likes Sarah Beauty. David Aragona, Nick Tamaro. I thought she got an absolutely perfect trip last time, and she's a total last time as a time horse. I know D'Alessandro's winning a lot of races, but I'm not. I guess you bet her on the trainer angle because his horses are winning. But I didn't think she ran very well last time.
Yeah, I mean,
Stunning Munnings. She means any killers here.
Right. Yeah, I didn't love her. I mean, I put a third. I didn't love her race last time. She's also 2 for 2 on wet tracks now. She's run a little bit faster on dry tracks, but I think, as you say a lot, at least she handles it. Maybe some other horses just don't. She won 2 of her 3 starts on wet tracks.
Well, they were slow races.
I don't know.
She was
a
less,
lot of her.
She was less slow than her
Yeah.
competition. That's how you win a lot of races, whether the track's wet, dry, or indifferent. We'll see.
I mean, if Whale and Josie didn't have her reputation, she'd be 3 to 5 in here.
Well, she's going to be sure. He's got her 7 to 5 more.
You think she's going to be that low? I don't know how
she'll
people
be 7 to
trust
5 or lower.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Who's the win machine in here?
No. There aren't any.
It's not like she's going up against. There's a reason. It's a non-winner of 2, right, or whatever.
I think Whale and Josie and Saratoga Beauty will be closer on the board. I think Saratoga Beauty is going to take a lot of money here.
Okay.
A lot of, like you said, a few people like her. Saw some buzz on Twitter. A few people like her.
Buzz on Twitter. What's that handle going to be?
Complete.
What's that handle on Twitter, Buzz, going to be?
And to be honest, she's won 3 times, right? She's won 3 races. We talk about who's the win machine in here. She's won more than any of the rest, and she's only run 11 times. You take her 2 turf races out. I mean, she's 3 for 9 on dirt. I think she's going to take a lot of money in here.
Well, she's also, I think, she's not Aragona's his spotlight play. If she is, she's going to open up short. So we'll see. Race number 4. It's funny. It's amazing. We bring them back, right? Didn't we talk about Hometown like 2 weeks ago on the show?
I think less.
Yeah. Remember we were discussing this.
The first line race.
Private purchase, actually. This was a WinStar horse, so it must have been a sale. This is one of the. This was one. I
wonder what sale this was. Could have been. Was this maybe the November sale?
Doesn't WinStar put some horses into sales?
I'm not right. No, I'm assuming it was November because this is after the July sale.
This was the funniest beat I think I took the entire meet at Saratoga. That this horse ran this race and somehow first line, the 25 claimer, beat him.
You got beat by a Derby horse.
Yeah, Derby horse. He eligible for the Alberta Derby.
That was a tough beat. That was
some beat. That was one of the bigger bets of the meet. That was some beat. The rail may have been an advantage that day, to be fair.
Horse ran giant, Andy. 6 furlongs to a mile and an 8. Horse ran his
Doesn't
eyeballs
this horse
out.
have a bit of a smell?
I mean.
But maybe you're right.
You could say that about any. You can almost say.
This
I mean,
horse ran
this was
early
going to be 6 lengths to Yelp on first time.
But this horse ran Saratoga, ran lights out, and then never showed up again at Saratoga.
Well, things happen.
Yeah, I know. That's my concern.
The fact that Chad's
And they sold this horse, who, by the way, ran well enough in the second start that you would think he'd one you want to keep.
You're
going to argue with that?
Hold on. No, I'm not going to necessarily argue with that, but I will say this. How many, this horse wasn't 2, this horse was 3.
He obviously had
3 when they
issues,
sold
yes.
the horse.
So in other words, he couldn't be a Triple Crown type
You know
horse.
what I mean? It's a little different with the older. It's
I
a little
guess.
different with the older colts and horses.
They get him in a stallion, in a broodmare, and a share because it's a Constitution, right? They stand Constitution. He was a Windstar horse, wasn't he?
Oh, I don't.
He must be standing there, right?
He must be. I forgot that he was a Windstar horse.
He was, right? The white silks. I remember those white silks.
I think he was.
Yeah. So maybe they got him.
I always
in that
get him
series.
in Violence.
But he sold for 170,000.
confused.
So no, he wasn't. Sells a weanling.
He sold as a weanling.
God, well before Constitution, people knew he was going to be good, right?
That's a lot of money
that's
for
a big price for a horse.
Constitution couldn't have been. What could Constitution been standing for 20,000 when he first started?
Nobody had any idea that he was going to turn out to the good, terrific
so
sire
8
he
times.
is.
Figure even if he was standing for 20.
You look at Constitutions, it wasn't really until Tis the Law. And then Saratoga won, a few of them won. But, it was when they started going up in price. So that's a huge price.
Based on this horse's form, I mean, he gets beat 6 lengths to Yopon. He runs that race in Saratoga. Yeah, the layoff's bothersome, but I mean, could you imagine if he comes back off the layoff?
He'll trounce his field if he runs back that race. Now, lemon drop road scratch helps. I'll tell you what horse should be a bit of a concern: Clemenza. They're going to come out firing from the rail with him.
Oh, I don't know if this horse is necessarily going to make the lead.
No,
today.
I didn't say he was going to make the lead.
But
I didn't suggest that at all.
Clemenza,
What I'm saying is, forgetting about that, I never suggested that at all. I never even considered that. Not that he's slow, but Clemenza could be the inside speed. If this track is playing big inside, I wouldn't want to let Clemenza beat me.
Yeah, Clemenza could be a little interesting. I also thought the rider change on Kid Cash could make things a little interesting, but you make a good point with Clemenza having to, in all likelihood,
Kid
protect.
Cash can't run anymore.
You might be right. I want to give him the
tag.
chance with Vargas.
He can't run at all anymore. That horse. Anybody?
You might be
tell
right.
you picking him.
You might be right.
I allowed you to get away with picking him last time. You didn't picking him again.
You don't allow anything.
This is silly. This horse can't
I don't
run
know
a
why-
step
I don't know
anymore.
why, but-
He
but
can't even make the
he
lead
need-
anymore.
well-
He can't. He should be running for a tag. This horse is what he should be doing. Now he's going to get 7
With
furlongs.
With Clemenza in here, it's probably going to be tough for him to make.
Well, Hometown's going to be breathing down his neck, too. On a fair racetrack, I love mandatory today. On a fair racetrack, I'd be making a big bet on mandatory today. I don't believe he ever wanted to go long. I don't believe he ever wanted those distances in those races, and I think too far. The other thing is that Mystic Knight race completely fell apart. He actually did not run badly in that Mystic Knight race. I thought he ran a very credible race in there, finishing 3rd. And now he's cutting back. He's going a proper distance, gets a good stalking post on a fair racetrack. I'm all in on mandatory today. And while absolutely admitting that Hometown may just be better than him, no question about it. But I really like.
If they both show up,
certainly
with their A race, Hometown's going to bury them. But yes,
But Hometown's very unreliable. By the way, you know what the highest buyer fig for yesterday's card was?
I do, because I cheated and saw your
Ant Cat 95,
yeah.
Mios 94, the winner of the stake 84. Ant Cat.
Mios. How much money I've bet on Mios?
So what do you do with Ant Cat? Do you want to find? I mean, obviously the rail helped, but I think you want to find out.
She's 4, right?
Oh.
I think she's. I don't know.
She must be 4.
I don't know if that was.
Sure, because she ran that mile in 8th race against. Oh, I didn't even think of that. You're right.
She's 4.
Interesting. So I guess you find an allowance race for her.
We're seeing that. You know, what's funny? I was talking to somebody else about this the other day. We're seeing this a lot more. We're seeing these horses debut much later. I should put it like this: we've seen horses debut late. We're seeing better horses debut later on in their careers. I think more so than we ever have.
I don't know. Probably.
Think about all the graded stakes horses we've seen. You can name Pattern Recognition didn't debut until he was 4 years.
We need to move on.
Horse. I'm just saying.
No, that's fine. We need to move on.
Think about it. Over the weekend, think about that. That's your homework.
I'm going to spend my entire weekend thinking about it.
Spend
How about
at least
you guys?
half a Tuesday. 3 hours on Tuesday.
I hope you guys can block some
5 to
time
8
during
on
the week.
Tuesday.
I hope you've got
Before
ample
dinner.
time.
I know you're a
Unlike
late dinner
me,
guy. You're a late dinner guy.
I could eat any time. I could eat at
5 to 8
6:30. I could eat
Tuesday.
at 10.
I'll call you at 8:30.
Oh, I probably
We'll
won't have
talk
dinner
about
by
it.
then. It'll be a late dinner because I have a late lunch with Bruce on Tuesday. So
8:30 is perfect. You go to
race
dinner
number
after.
5. Race number 5, Yankee Division. Interesting to see who's favored in here. David's got them pretty much the same here. Yankee Division is not a horse I wanted to pick because he is completely dressed up by a gold rail. Well, number one, he might be dressed up by a gold rail again. He does have to get a mile and an eighth. This is a horse. I know the gold rail dressed him up, and believe me, I searched long and hard for a reason to bet against this horse. I really did. The problem that I have is this horse has gotten better on fair racetracks. I think there's a chance he's just improving. I don't love him, but to me, I don't like Bold Agenda. I want to pick against him, and I just couldn't really put Mystic Knight on top. So I end up with Yankee Division.
I like Bold Agenda a lot.
Of course you do. We'll show Joe Bold Agenda's race at Gulfstream.
Yeah, I like this horse's. I thought this horse took money into another Pletcher horse first time out, and then last time out and lost. And
last time out beat the mighty Ghost Lore. Was he a killer?
He looks like a horse that is going to get better with experience, and he certainly looks like a horse to me that is going to get better with some more distance. I know this doesn't look that way, but this horse looks like he's rushed going the mile.
Oh,
I think.
So in other words, he passed the eye test.
I think getting off. I think a horse like him as well is going to benefit getting away from Gulfstream.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that usually happens in that barn. For what it's worth, off of maiden wins and dirt routes at NYRA, Todd's, his numbers aren't terrible. They're 22%. The ROI is low. I don't like this horse. I think that last race is completely phonied up. Timeform has it nowhere near as fast as Bayer does. I will say the third place finisher is okay, but maybe he didn't run that day. The second place finisher is not a good horse. One of the reasons I pick Yankee Division is I really don't like this horse. If
you don't like this horse, and this is the reason I have Yankee Division second, if you don't like this horse, Yankee Division looks like he's just supposed to go to the top and just be done with this bunch.
Well,
that's how I feel. I thought it was. I know you have Mystic Knight in there. I think Mystic Knight's going to have to get.
Let me tell you something.
A lot faster. No, I mean you said it earlier talking about mandatory. Well, that race kind of fell apart, and he just came rolling by.
See, I don't think Mystic Knight is necessarily much slower than the two. And Mystic Knight was a horse they liked early. They liked for his first start, and he had issues, and he didn't run well in his second start. He came alive last time, and they knew he was going to run last time. He got bet. He stumbled at the start. Was it a terrible stumble? Wasn't terrible. Well, good. He went to his knees pretty severely in that race, and he still blew the field away. I think that horse is going to run.
Okay.
I'm not rushing to let Mystic Knight beat me. I'm going to use 4s and 6s here. The 2 wins, I'm going to lose. I think
Ajaweed's another horse that's going to benefit.
I'm scared with him.
I think him getting away from. He looked like he spun his wheels last time. He may have just needed the race, but this horse never ran for Kieran.
He failed the eye test.
Well, he went to Tampa. Kieran could have kept him at Gulfstream, and Kieran took him to Tampa.
He stuck at Tampa too.
He got hurt at Tampa. He was gone for 10 months.
Well, we don't know that.
I know he got hurt at Tampa. I'm telling you, that's not a.
The bottom line with Ajaweed is he's just been a massive disappointment.
So far. I don't disagree with that, but I'll tell you what.
He'll run better today.
I'll have a little Ajaweed if he's going to be the 4th choice in here.
So Anthony likes 2 top ledger horses shipping up from Gulfstream. They're going to improve at Aqueduct. Okay. Just putting in a record on that one.
I think that.
Should we take a break?
I think that horse is okay.
Come back to do battle for round 2.
Yeah.
Round 2. We'll be back for round 2 in just a moment.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit nyrabets.com.
We're back. He's the big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm not.
Never.
Who could possibly be the big A?
No one. That's the answer. No one.
You're back at Mohegan Sun for the Derby.
Yeah, I am super excited about that. Missed it last year. I've had a lot of success up there. They put us up for a lot of money 2 years ago. So.
All right. Back to what matters. Today's action.
Derby's
Race number 6.
Less than 7 weeks away. Isn't that crazy?
Race number 6.
Nice talking to you.
It's crazy. Crazy. Race number 6. This is a funny race because the inside speed is step to the bank. Maybe he'll wire the field. It does sort of change the complexion of the race. We'll take a look to start it with Mr. Bobby and Brilliant Brooks. I understand putting Brilliant Brooks on. Both of these horses were against the track in here. They're both way against track. I prefer Mr. Bobby, who I thought ran a much better race. Problem is the way Rob Attras's barn's going. It's hard to put any of his horses not on top. So to me, they're the main two players against the track, but they may be against the track again today. That's the problem.
They might be against the track today, but even I think you would have to agree with this one, Mr. Serling. How about if you're Jamie Ness and you drop the Tonka flower into the entries up here, you see the way the track's been going, you draw the rail, and then you got to see that Step to the Bank is in the race. And there's no possible way you're getting in front of Step to the Bank.
Well, we'll say one thing about Step to the Bank. He's gotten left 2 straight races.
Yeah, right. So that's one. 2, whether or not he gets left or not, and he's going to get left and press.
No, he's going to get left and clear. He's too fast.
Or he's going to get left and clear. Or he's just going to clear.
He's one of the single fastest horses early on the grounds. He may be a lower level horse, but I woe to any horse that wants to run with this guy early.
And I don't disagree with you, but
this guy went 22-1 in the winter, in the dead winter when they were going 24.
I don't. But
and he got left.
I don't
he
think.
went 45 and change.
And I'm not saying he can keep up with him.
He may have run the fastest half mile we ran in the entire months of January and February.
He may not be able to keep up with him, but. I mean, Tonka Flower only has 1 speed, and that's go 2.
He's not.
I know he
quick.
can't keep up with him.
Well, Dylan won't give up the rail. Dylan won't give up the rail. That's for sure.
So he's either going to duel with Step to the Bank at all costs, or he's going to be chasing Step to the Bank.
Isn't there another problem with Tonka Flower, regardless of that? The best horses just aren't running to their races out of town.
And I don't disagree, but what I'm saying to you is he only has 1 speed, whether you like him or not. He only has 1 speed, and now he has to deal with the fastest horse on the ground.
No.
So there has to be pace in here.
If you're Jamie Ness, you saw this, you went, oh, that's good, and then you went, ugh.
Yeah,
you're
how
not
did this
wrong.
happen, right?
More trouble last time. He ran too well to lose in this race, and he really, really ran. And he's not a horse that needs to lead. And by the way, you want to speak of horses that could suck into the perfect trip. Based on his last race, couldn't he suck into an absolutely perfect trip behind the 1 and 3?
He could, but do you want him to pass horses?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if I want him passing horses.
When was he ever a speed horse? The last race was the first time that he ever had to wire a field, basically. What are you talking about?
I don't know if I want him passing horses in a sprint. Maybe in the
Now
distance
it's in a
races.
sprint.
Maybe in the distance races on a turf, it's a little bit of a different story. I don't know if he has enough.
Well, I don't know what race did he break his maiden. I didn't look it up.
I don't know.
Well, you don't know the distance of it,
No.
so you're talking without knowing. Well, why don't I bring up the lifetime PPs?
I know what I see on the card in the sprints.
That doesn't help. We're so far. We're so far.
It doesn't help. Hold on.
It doesn't help the people listening at home.
For the last 4 years, he hasn't passed a horse in the sprint. We're going to go back to a race that he ran 4 years ago. This horse has races on his card back on September.
You can't make definitive statements without at least looking it up. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I'm saying on paper.
No, it doesn't matter. What matters is what he's done in his career. We don't know what he's got.
To me, you.
When he won, he was placed first that day in a maiden race.
Whatever it is,
it's fine. But if you don't have all the information, we can't.
I'm not going to worry about what he did
absolutes.
4 years ago, Andy. It was 4 years ago. Source has races on his card from September
I
of
don't
17.
care if it was 4,000 years ago. You're saying he's never done it.
No, I didn't say he never done it. I said I don't want him.
Okay,
I said I don't want him passing horses on the dirt in the sprint. He's done it going longer on the turf. I don't know if I want him passing horses. I know what you're saying. He's supposed to be inside. He's not supposed to give up position.
I feel like I'm having a flashback from when I was at Dead shows when I was 20 years old.
You're talking about
race
a race
number
from
7.
4 years ago.
I can't have this conversation. It's too silly to me. Fine. We completely and totally disagree.
I see what you're saying.
In every possible way you could possibly imagine.
He's outrun to a point where you're going to ask him to do a lot of work that he doesn't ordinarily do.
He's a closer. I think the surprise was the lead last time. I think that's an indication of. No, Anthony. He'd never shown speed like that. I think his last race is an indication that he was. Yeah, not like that. I think his last race is an indication he's in good form, if anything. Yes, we disagree once again. It happens a lot, thankfully.
It does.
Race number 7. Big scratch in here. I like the 4. By the way, I won $50,000. I bet my entire net worth and all the money that I was going to earn the rest of my life versus $50,000 that you would pick the 6 on top of this race. Cha-ching!
Yeah, well.
Anthony loves this horse. Anthony thinks, what do you think now? His next start? I mean, the Excelsior? What are you thinking?
No.
You plan out as, what do you think, Westchester? That's the...
No.
Get him to the Westchester and then the Met Mile?
Hold on a second. Why would you do that this year when he's at Gelding? You can always go after the Open Company next year. Pick off some New York rich thing. Commentator.
There's a
next.
reasonable chance he'll still be a nominee.
Commentator's next.
If he hasn't been, if he's not in a claiming race by then.
This and then the commentator. I got it all planned.
You love this horse.
I do love this
I don't
horse.
get it at all.
I don't know what happened last time. I know what happened last time.
Chased
Yankee
outside.
division just
he chased outside against the Gold Rail.
Yep.
I do know he had
And now he gets Trevor McCarthy. And
that helps. I agree.
You know, I didn't know what to do with Daddy. Well, Daddy Knows was going to obviously be a player in here after that. He was getting out last time.
Yeah,
bad.
but he got a stronger rider
Yeah,
today.
he does,
That's
but
why
now-
Manny was named.
But you
he
know
is.
what?
He's done it before. Maggie was talking about that. He's done that before.
He gets a target in here, and not that Brady. I don't want not that Brady leaving Rudy after going down the claiming.
I don't want
ranks.
not that Brady.
Right.
With Rudy, with Rob Atras.
And that was the point, right? At this, I got to a point where he was just, I think the lemon was squeezed dry, and now he's going to have it. But he's going to make the lead in here because they're foolish if they don't put not that Brady on the lead today.
Of course he's going
to make the lead, and I think that gives what do you think now a nice target, especially with Daddy Knows out of the picture.
I didn't want to pick what do you think now can win here? I'm teasing you because I know you love this horse. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as you think he is, but I do think he's okay. He's the horse to beat. I don't have a big issue with him. I'm mostly teasing you. Cold Hard Cash. I know this horse had a perfect trip last time. No question about it. The thing about Cold Hard Cash is he does have back races that are good though, and I like Linda Rice horses in good form, and I don't think he's going to be that short a price here. His Timeform US race Timeform US has his last race a lot better than Beyer does. I think this horse really ran last time. I know he had a good trip. I'm going to take him off that win because I just don't like anybody else in here. I mean, Vintage Hollywood, not impossible. I guess Just Right's not impossible. Not that Brady would need the greatest bias in history of racing to get home, and then some. It's hard to take micros. Daneberry can win, but he's got to stalk outside. But he might be the right horse stalking outside of Not That Brady, who's not in good form. I mean, second off a layoff. I just don't love that horse. I'm sort of sick of him.
I'm gonna tell you the horse that I think at a little bit of a price is interesting, and that's Just Right.
He's not impossible.
DePaz making the claim in this horse. This horse has run well. I mean, look on his card.
Wait, DePaz making the claim. He's 0 for 6 off the claim. Now, Horacio DePaz is a good trainer, but he has never had any success in his limited number of claims, and he claimed this horse from Rob Atras.
He did claim this horse from Rob Atras. But you look at this horse's races going on his card. He didn't run that poorly last time going the mile. It was one of the faster races he had run in a while.
Yeah, but he had a dream
He ran in
trip
the Albany
there.
against Funny Guy and Bankit. He ran in the New York Derby against Bankit.
Well,
he has a second
8
hit over
starts
General a long time ago. The one-turn mile races, he's 2 for 4 with a second place finish. I think this horse might be okay. And he's supposed to get an inside trip and some pace in front of him.
Okay, well, no, he's not going to get any pace in front
Oh,
of him.
he's going to have Not That Brady in here, and at the very least, there's some pace in front of him. I mean, he should, and he's not, you know what? He's not that slow that he should be too far off the pace.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I think this one's going to get a good trip.
At what point do you stop saying a horse is going to
No,
get
I
some
don't think.
pace
Listen, I
around
don't think they're going to go that fast, but I think he's going to get some pace in front of him.
It's like the Wayne Lucas comment. They all get the distance. Just a question how fast.
But they're not going
there will be a pace in
go
here.
49, Andy. You know what I mean?
They are.
No.
They go 49 every time.
Not that Brady doesn't go 49. He won't go 49. They'll go 48 and some change. They won't go 49.
That'll be blistering. Ooh.
Listen.
I get goosebumps thinking about that 48 and
I'll
change.
tell you what, the slower they go, the better for a horse like Just Right. If you're going to pull Just Right, I think.
So a minute ago he was going to get some pace. Now you want to slow pace.
I'd rather have the pace in front of him. But if you're going to pull him into the race,
I just saw Jerry Garcia. That's
you're going to pull him into the race. Pull him into the race.
He could get the right trip and win here. I don't really like this horse. I don't think he's that good, but he's not impossible. Honestly, I don't really. I think the 1 and 2 can win. I think the 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8 can all win this race. I don't like the 7 or 3 would surprise me. After that,
I just don't. Daneberry to me has just seen much better days, and you're asking him to do something today, right? He's going to have to. He's going to have to chase outside.
He has
or
stalked
raid
and won.
outside. Yeah,
he did. He stalked and won.
Yeah.
He has stalked and won. I'm just saying.
When?
What's the difference when? We think he forgot?
No, I just don't think he's not. I mean,
he stalked and won. It's a fact. I know. What is the statute of limitations?
He just has a lot of breaks on his car.
What exactly
you know what I mean?
is the statute of limitations on when you stalk? Is it like after 2 years, 3 years?
He's 8 years old now, Andy. He has two almost. He has one.
Whitmore is 8 years old, isn't he? Or is he 9 years old?
He has 1 year plus break on his car. He has another break that's a week and a half. I can't compare this horse to Whitmore.
I didn't compare him to Whitmore. I compared his age to Whitmore.
Whitmore's won as many times as this horse has run. You know what I mean? I don't trust him.
I didn't say I loved him. He can win this race.
I don't trust him stalking and winning. I just don't.
Even though he's done it before.
I just think there are
If you
three
didn't look it
horses.
up, didn't mean it didn't happen.
There are the minimum 3 horses that have a better chance of doing what he's going to do.
He's an 8-1 morning line. You're acting as though I'm talking about a horse that's 5-2 that I
This
love.
is what you do.
I just
This
said
is
I
what
think
you
they're
do to my.
fourth.
This is what you do to my 10-to-1 shots. You don't like it, right? That I think can hit the board.
You can find you want to do it. I just disagree with you. I don't dislike it. I think it's preposterous. Should we discuss some of these horses? Should we bring them back, please? Race number 8. Excellent timing. I kind of tried to pick against him, and I considered actually picking Eagle Orb because I think he's better going shorter. Fortunately, he's not running.
I was surprised when you didn't pick Eagle Orb for Grill into the scratch. I was surprised you didn't pick Eagle Orb on a comeback.
I think this horse might be pretty good, to be honest. I do love that all the quotes. Did you read Ryan Martin's story about this race?
No.
Oh, how could you? I should have said it to you. It was all the quotes from Sal Cumin. I was teasing Chad. I said, Sal's the official spokesman for the barn now. Oh, yeah, Sal's very giddy. They were thinking of running him in a Triple Crown prep. Oh, you didn't read? First of all, it's very disrespectful that you did not read Ryan Martin Naira.
Tweet it out.
Ryan Martin Naira.
I usually see the tweet.
Oh, you're not following Naira? Of course they did.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, Ryan Martin Naira had the story.
Ryan Martin Naira had the story. I haven't been in the press box all week.
I read your story, Ryan. This guy may have...
I gave you a tomato sauce recipe. Who wins that one?
Don't try to get out of this. You've disrespected your friend Ryan Martin.
I'm bringing my mother's tomato sauce recipe over. You reading his note story? I win that by 15 lengths minimum.
Just admit that you disrespected
Johnny, I call
the
that
guy.
one out of the screen.
Just admit it. You disrespect the guy without reason.
I didn't read his story. I'm
Listen,
honest.
none of us are perfect. I am close, but
This horse was a tip first time out. He got
kidding.
beat by an actress first time starter who rode the inside and just worked out a
By the way,
great
if they
trip
don't
and
just
ride.
blast off with this horse, they're out of their minds. He's the best horse in the race. I don't care if the track is fair. He's the best horse in the race.
He's
just
the best
go.
horse in the race.
Stop, don't take speed away
He's
from
the
this guy.
fastest horse in the race. And with Eagle Orb out of here, I know Eagle Orb probably wasn't as fast as him, but Eagle Orb's success
on the
was
same planet.
Eagle Orb's success was being closer, and he's gone now.
Eagle Orb
just
couldn't
go
have
to
been
the
5
lead.
lengths close to this horse.
Just go to the lead.
The horse that could be close to him is Perfect Munnings, and he's got Kendrick. And I'm a little scared of Perfect Munnings in here, to be honest.
Loved him 2 starts back. The last time
He got lucky to win 2 back,
did.
but he did run a good figure.
He did.
He can win. I'm not convinced he
Didn't
can't
have
win.
a great trip last time. He found himself between horses. Now the blinkers go on. He cuts back.
He was 2 to 3 wide. The rail was good. I don't disagree. He didn't. It was a weird trip. It's not the trip. I'll put it this way. It's not the trip that you would have predicted him.
No
How's
shot. You
that?
envision that trip for him.
That's what I think.
He's in contention between horses, chasing against a horse that's pretty good. I mean, Nicky DeVest just left him and the rest of them.
The Derby. You know?
No, he's
No, because he's a run happy. They're giving him a special dispensation. He can run without points. You looked at me for a second like I was serious. He's running in the Wood.
Wood Memorial.
You're excited for the Wood, aren't you? Listen, let me ask you a question. When do you start losing like half an hour to an hour of sleep every night because you're starting to think about the Wood? You'd be shocked. I went to bed at the old 11 o'clock.
My left hand's itchy. Is that money going in or coming? I mean, probably going out. Never mind.
It's definitely going out.
What time did you go to sleep last night?
The old 11:10.
You're going to start like my mother and Christine now with the old 11:10? What time is it? Really? This clock doesn't work? That clock changed?
No, I turned the clocks that I need to change, and I knew the other ones would automatically change.
First thing I do when I get in my car, change the time. Nothing else happens. Time gets changed. Car gets turned on, time gets changed.
What's the car doing? Is it the only thing working the clock?
Unbelievable. No, she's all
What
right.
about the one a long time ago, which is when we started today's show?
Far, far away.
I thought he ran fine in there. Whirlwind Ride came back and ran well yesterday. I wouldn't completely discount this horse.
No,
He got a good trip.
He's
but
He's the third horse for me. Yeah.
But he's okay. Are you going to be shocked if he's
Not at all.
legitimately okay?
He's inside.
Yeah. How much Damon Runyon have you read? I bet you've read Damon Runyon.
A little bit.
I've got some books at home. If you want me to bring them in?
Bring them in.
Oh, it's great stuff.
Bring them in.
You
Please.
could, I'm surprised that you never played Nathan Detroit. You'd have been a natural for Nathan Detroit. I saw Guys and Dolls on Broadway with Nathan Lane years and years ago. It was great.
I have an idea. I'll tell you about it.
Oh.
No, I'll tell you about it.
They're dying. No, race
I
number.
would like to pull it off.
Can you believe it? We've only got one race left.
And then you got to wait till Friday.
Listen,
Well, for us, you can tune into HRN on Wednesday to hear me.
we get to live our lives, but it's got to be hard for you to get through the week without
I don't
us.
know how you guys do it.
You have us.
It's tough for us
By the
to
way,
not have you.
Yes, this is going to
I
shock.
can't imagine the other way
This is
around.
going to come as an enormous shock to a lot of people. Anthony
Here we go.
picked the Chad Brown Klarovich first-time
we
star
go.
of the last race.
Here we go. Could have taken the dropper, and despite all odds, could have taken Lightfoot Miss, who actually dropped last time.
You figure with an outside post, those Chad Brown firsters are usually bullets. This one is just going to come rocketing out of the gate. It could be like as you know, I said, this could be the maiden claiming version of Newspaper of Record, just like a rocket ship.
You never know. You never. That's why it's the greatest game played outdoors.
You making a parlay of this horse into risk profile in the Derby futures or risk taking? Excuse me. I can't keep that sort of straight.
I got 42 to 1.
Did you?
42 to 1.
You know what that means?
I haven't made a bet in 9 years.
You know what that means?
What?
Somebody else didn't bet. I guess.
Highly Motivated was 12 points shorter. And I get that. In one way, I get it. In another way, a horse that has 2 9-furlong wins, I got 42 to 1.
I don't disagree. Well, but this way. Risk taking may be the favorite to be in the Derby of those 2 horses.
Of the 3 Klarovich horses, right? He's the favorite to be in the Derby,
In a way,
right?
yeah. So that alone
42
is
to 1.
supposed to make him a short. But 42 to 1 is a fair price. I don't like him. 42 to 1 seems like a very.
If he wins or runs second in the Memorial, what's he, 25 to 1 in the Derby?
I would have bet $20 on him at 42 to 1. I agree. So that's it. Just.
I'm using the 1, 2, 5, 6,
Truth
and 8.
be told, I did hear very recently that they do think this horse could be okay.
Oh, there we go.
No, okay.
Now,
I didn't say he's going to. He's running in a maiden claim. Oh, even
Andy,
Chad Brown's stat. Because I knew you'd pick him.
Remember this, Chad. See who picked him, right?
Yeah, I know. That's who he thinks his friends are. He picks the horses. Yeah, any trainer that thinks you don't like him because you don't pick his horses is out of their mind.
Well, how many of them do we know?
Oh, but they're
3,700?
They're crybabies. First time starters are maiden claimers and dirt sprints. What I think is interesting about him is not just he only has 2 winners, he just doesn't do it that often. Yeah. And they're usually just not that good. So maybe this horse is okay, but in general, they're not. And the thing is, think about the maiden claimers he's run and the people have claimed for him first time. They've just never done well with him. They've never done well with him.
Yeah. A lot of them just.
You know, so
a lot of them, quite a few wind up in the Bermuda Triangle, too.
I'm hoping that Dylan doesn't give up the rail, and despite all odds, who was 3 wide last time against a gold rail in the Maracuja race. He was against the track last time. I thought his prior race was fast enough to win, and he was the horse to beat. I guess Bastet could be the speed in here. He was against the track last time, too. In a lot of ways, he's the horse to beat. I'm just not a big fan of that.
I didn't want to take any of the runners, and when I went through it to finish out the selections, despite all odds, supposed to get the right setup, right?
Right. What about Lightfoot Miss, who was wide last time against the gold rail, and now gets in a position where Pablo can save some ground?
And she's cutting back, and I'm not too sure her sprint races weren't better than her distance races.
Yeah, you know me, I love a cutback, so I don't think she's much horse, but...
And this is another instance where I thought these picks went up Friday night. They did not register. I put them up last night when I made a couple of changes. I moved the actress horse up. I had it 8-1-2-6. I made it 8-1-6-2.
If Atras wins with this horse, I give up. Anyhow, this was really fun. I don't know
what are you going to do without me for 4 days?
Call you every day.
I'll call you back. I'm playing dominoes. I'll call you back. I'm with Mom playing gin.
You know what he's doing? He's probably sleeping. He's probably sitting home alone in his room. He's going, I can't talk to this idiot. Bad enough I'm going to put up with him during the week.
That never happens.
Anyhow, you need to head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know.
Get on board.
This is like self-torture.
Don't you want to be part of the team?
Why don't you want to do it?
I'll use the promo code MATCH200.
Do you want to feel good?
We'll match the $200 of your initial deposit. Naira Bets.com. Anthony, I've bequeathed this giveaway.
Sawbuck. That $10 to win on a horse in the last race here and or at Oaklawn. If you finish second, you're going to give you your Sawbuck back. That's $10.
I knew this when I was a kid because I asked once. I've forgotten. What is it because they're saying you cut a $100 bill in half? Why is it called a Sawbuck?
I don't know.
I remember as a kid asking and it being explained to me, and it's something like that, like I cut a $100 bill in half. But when I was a kid, nobody talked about $100 bills. I was like, they had a $100 window at Saratoga, yellow tickets.
Wow.
Where the women's room is in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. When you walk right in the clubhouse, to the right, the women's room.
Yep.
That was the $100 window.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember they're going in with somebody to bet who was betting affirmed and the hopeful. It's like a room. There's doors. Really.
It's a counting room.
The racetrack was romantic then. You know, there were great characters.
Damon Runyon.
That's right. Damon Runyon wrote about them all. If you haven't ever read Damon Runyon, find some Damon Runyon and read it because you're missing out on something great. We got to go. Johnny I's up next. See you later.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Aqueduct. And we have mostly sunny skies, the temperature around 50 degrees, and the main track is fast. Here now a look at today's changes. In the first race, number 2, Camouflage Kisser, runs with cheek pieces again. Number 3, Maine, is a Ridgeling. And note that number 5, High Press, is now 1 pound over. In the second race, number 4, Meet Me in Cali, will run with a Goggle off. Third race, no changes. Today's fourth race begins the Empire 6. And there's a mandatory payout each and every day in March here at Aqueduct in the Empire 6. In race 4, scratch the 2, Lemon Drop Road, scratch number 2. Race 5, scratch the 5, American Rule, scratch number 5. In the sixth race, number 1, Tonka Flower, is a Ridgeling, and scratch number 4, Knockout Punch, scratch the 4. In today's seventh race, scratch the 4, Daddy Knows, scratch number 4. Note that number 8, Daneberry, runs with 1 bar shoe again. Featured eighth race is the 42nd running of the Damon Runyon Stakes. Scratch number 2, Eagle Orb, scratch the 2. And in the ninth race, number 4, Odem Golden Slippers, will run with a mask. And number 6, Up 74,